Week 6 of college football is here, and we're back for another episode to give you an inside look of some previews and predictions for some of the hottest and greatest games of the weekend. I'm Nathan Johnston here with my co-host, Brad Hopkins. It's time to break the huddle. Brad, every week college football is just spectacular, and there's not one week that disappoints us. This week will be no different. But before we get into the predictions, let's talk about our updated records as stand. Now, as you can see, I'm by myself tonight. No Rooster tonight. He's away for the week, but he'll be back soon. But currently, as stands, you and Rooster are tied at 17 and 13. Rooster sent me in the records. He tried to slip away with 18 and 12, but I've got the text threads on my phone saying, quote, "Is it too late to change my pick from UNLV to Fresno State?" So Rooster didn't forget, kept the text, and if you'd like to discuss at a later date, we can. But as stands, you and Brad are tied. You said you were one game ahead, but I called a tie. With that being said, because we're going to talk about UNLV, I'm still behind at 14 and 16 in my record. Hopefully I can catch up this week. Brad, let's not waste anyone's time. Let's jump right into it. That's a good segue into our first game of the week. Friday night kickoff between the number 25 UNLV Rebels and the Syracuse Big Orange. Syracuse coming into town, into Las Vegas to play in Allegiant Stadium, home of the UNLV Rebels. This is a Friday night kickoff, like I mentioned, 9 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, and UNLV currently favored by 7. Brad, we were really high on this UNLV team 2 weeks ago, and then we hear the news of Matthew Sluka leaving the program, redshirting, wanting to leave because, quote, he wasn't getting paid enough. I believe he was promised $100,000, was only received $3,000, but nonetheless, UNLV did not skip a beat. In fact, their next up quarterback looks just as good, if not better. Brad, I'll turn it over to you. Both of these teams riding high coming into this Friday night kickoff. Who do you have coming out on top?
Nate, yeah, man, and you made it some really good points there in the introduction. I really want to quickly hit on Matthew Sluka. I think it's just an absolute disappointment and disgrace, and it just really makes me sad, man, Nate, for the state of college football. But this guy, I get it, it's your promised money and you didn't receive, and we've heard this obviously a few times come up, obviously with him. Jaden Rashada's gone through the same thing, and I get it. These guys are promised something, and sometimes it's not upheld. But bottom line, to me, it's a little bit of a cop out, and it's a little bit of the money's more important to me than playing football. And so, Nate, my really big point before I move into talking about this game is, first of all, it's time for the NCAA to do something. We know they'll never do that. They're cop out chicken organization. I wish we could get someone in the NCAA on this show because, Nate, I know we would have some great questions for them and put them on the hot seat a little bit. They need to answer for some of the stupid decisions they've made. But also, Nate, going further, the NFL, to me, when they're going through their scouting and drafting process, they need to start asking these guys the tough questions. Is it all about the pay for you, or you want to hear to play football? So that's my little rant on Matthew Sluke in that situation. But you mentioned new quarterback Hajj Malik Williams, and man, that he stepped right into this very, very fun UNLV offense. I'm really high on Brennan Marion, and Barry Odom. Nate has just done such a great job. I know we're both really high on him. I think we're both of the opinion, and I know you've said it several times, that I think we both have said he's going to get some offers in one of the Power 4 conferences. I mean, I think it's just a given because he's totally turned that UNLV program around. I think the same thing with Brendan Marion. I think he's either going to get, some either big time OC offers or maybe even some head coaching offers. For Syracuse, Fran Brown's doing a really good job there. Kyle McCord's, really the star, and I think is really kind of made everyone forget a little bit about some of his struggles at Ohio State last year. Getting to this game, I like Syracuse. I like what they have going. I think they keep it under 7 points for the final score, but I'm taking UNLV just because of this unique offense. And like I said, I'm really impressed with Williams. I think he steps in there, and I think he does a good job, and the Rebels win this one.
Yeah, Brad, you bring up a lot of great points. And UNLV is riding high. They've got a new quarterback, and I think more than anything, this speaks volume to Barry Odom and that UNLV program because a lot of people, if there was really something going on behind the scenes, those players would have dropped out already. They would have given up. They would have said, you know what, this program is full of it. They're offering us stuff, but they didn't. They rallied around their backup quarterback and Haj, and I think I pronounced this right, Haj Malik Williams, who, by the way, was in a quarterback competition with Matthew Sluka heading into the season. This isn't just some backup freshman that you just throw in there because you have no other options. This is a very, very athletic, dynamic quarterback. When you look at his past, I think he had over 8,000 yards passing at the FCS level at Campbell. And to your point, this offense is super dynamic, and it speaks volume to the coordinator. It speaks volumes to Barry Odom and how he's been able to handle this whole situation. I think UNLV is in a very good place. And then you talk about Syracuse and what Fran Brown has been able to do there. No one expected this team to do much this year. Then Kyle McCord gets booted out of Ohio State. Still don't know why. You win 11 games and you get booted out of a program like Ohio State. But nonetheless, here he is at Syracuse proving himself again. This is going to be a very tightly contested matchup. Syracuse does a great job limiting big plays, which is what UNLV likes to do. Syracuse has played very well. They come into this contest, I believe, only losing one game thus far. Man, it's tough. In the end, though, I'm going to have to go with the UNLV Rebels. I think being at home, I think riding high. Look, this is a big game for both of these teams. But this was an even bigger game for UNLV because if they can beat a team like Syracuse, Syracuse runs the table the rest of the year and makes it to the ACC championship game. UNLV could be knocking on the doorstep of being that group of 5 team to get in. So I think this is a bigger matchup than what most people are expecting to see. And honestly, I kind of like that it's on a Friday night. This is a chance for all eyes to be on, quote unquote, the prize. Because both of these teams are fighting for something in their own regards. But give me the UNLV Rebels, and I think, to your point, I think Syracuse does cover the spread, but I think UNLV just comes out just slightly. And for those picking this game, take the over because I think this is going to be a very high-scoring affair. But give me UNLV. Let us know down in the comments who you think is going to win this ACC versus Mountain West matchup.